Hi, this is Matt Kendall, currently in Facebook jail. I'm with Agata today, who did the IEMT training in January of this year, 2022. Sorry, it's been a strange year, hasn't it, so far? We've literally just been through Agata's case studies. They're really good. 2 interesting clients that we'll be able to sort of talk a little bit about. Agata's got a background which is an RTT, which is Rapid Transformational Therapy, isn't it? It's Marissa Peer's thing. And it's based in hypnosis and hypnotism and hypnotherapy, isn't it?
Hypnotherapy, NLP, cognitive therapy, and a few other things.
It's her own kind of, excuse me, it's her own kind of system, isn't it, that she's put together? Okay, cool. So basically, the idea of these interviews is to give people an idea of an understanding of what it's like to go through the IEMT training and, more importantly, apply it with real world people. So Agata's in Germany, but the thing is, we are obviously all on Zoom. The IEMT training is on Zoom, and all the sessions are also conducted on Zoom as well now. So Agata, just a little bit about your history, your kind of training, and what was it you were doing before you learned about IEMT?
So I only graduated RTT in November, and I was looking for marketing stuff.
Okay.
And this is how I met you.
Right.
And you gave me a few things about marketing. And then you mentioned IEMT. And I had absolutely no clue what was it, but I checked it straight away.
Okay.
And I was extremely interested in it.
Okay. So
it was by accident, really.
I remember I gave you my ebook, I think.
Yes.
So okay. So you didn't know about IEMT.
No.
You were, you qualified in Rapid Transformational Therapy. And have you done any therapy training and qualifications before the RTT at all?
No.
So.
I am actually I have nothing to do with psychology.
Okay.
Or any other sort of therapy. I am
an equestrian.
Right, of course. With the horses. Okay, so what was it about the IEMT that made you want to come and learn it?
Oh, the first thing, I watched few videos when you were talking about it, and then I've seen Andrew Austin as well in YouTube, and he was working with a woman there, and it was, to me, it was just incredible. The way this woman changed from what she was before he started and shortly after. I said, it's impossible to do something like that in a few minutes. I have got to try that. And yeah, I didn't need much encouragement.
Okay. So you booked on, and then it's a 2-day course. We did over a Saturday and Sunday. I will be doing some midweek ones as well. So obviously you don't have that much experience in attending courses, well, especially of the therapy training. You did the RTT is a much longer training, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I suppose you're learning hypnotherapy and stuff, I suppose. So you did this. It's a 2-day training. I send out stuff beforehand. We do the training. We do the after stuff as well. What was it like going through the training? What was your experience like of doing it?
Interesting. I did try my best to prepare before. Now, because in the same time I got a bad dose of COVID, it wasn't too easy. Now I've done my best, but coming to the actual course, I was not 100% at all. So I really had to concentrate. Everything was different. Everything was new for me. And at first I thought, oh my God, there is not a hope I'm going to go through it. But after the first day, when we actually got to practice on each other, I said, nah, that's not really that difficult. I might just do okay. So yeah, the second day was as good. And after that, very next day, I read everything again. I watched the videos, the recordings, and I said, yeah, I can do it.
Excellent. Because I send out before the course, a week or so before the course, I send you an information pack. I send you some videos to watch and some stuff to prepare, like a whole pre-pack or whatever to go through. And then on the course, I think it was quite a big group, wasn't it? It was about 16 people.
16 people, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big group. And the way that I teach it, I do the first hour or so is all theory, but then when we get into the tools and techniques, first of all, I talk about what it is, present what the idea or the module is. I then do some form of demonstration with somebody. You then go into a practice room to practice the technique. We then come back into the main room and discuss any findings and stuff like that. So how did you find that way of learning? And also, what did you observe change-wise in yourself and the other people during the weekend?
The fact that we were able to practice on each other is crucial. Without that, I don't think it would even work. Working in rooms with 1 or 2 people was great, because if you don't do it yourself, it's just not going to work. And even if you make mistakes, it's okay, because then we're going back to the main room and we can ask you. And then you are great to explain everything. So, even if there was some things that may have been difficult in a way, after we asked you, everything was clear. So it was brilliant.
And did you experience any changes yourself?
Yeah.
And what was that like?
Yeah. First, I just came up with something very easy. I actually don't have really any traumatic experiences in my life, thank God. So for me, even the simple pattern, when it went from, I think it was 8 down to 2, I said, wow, I just couldn't see it anymore. I couldn't visualize it anymore. And there was one exercise we were doing. Oh no, that was actually the identities. I started to see a party with balloons and confetti and everything. So it was just, it was quite unbelievable.
Yeah. And when you were working with the people in the practice rooms, what kind of changes did you see working with people? And were you surprised on the fact that it did work?
Yeah. The best thing about the method is that you can check it straight away. Yeah. Because with other methods, you just can't. You kind of have to rely on client to tell you, oh yeah, I do feel better. But here, you know straight away. Tell me from 1 to 10, where are you now? Yeah. Oh, I'm 2. Brilliant. Yeah. So when someone tells you straight away, you kind of get this feeling, yes, I'm achieving something and I'm so happy for this person. Yeah. So, and it was the same with the exercise with people in the group. When I've seen that it's actually doing something good for the person, it kind of makes me feel good as well. Yeah, of course. Of course. So it was really, really good.
So after the training, you're asked to go and do 2 case studies, and that's 2 sessions with 2 people. So that's 4 sessions in total. After the case study, after the course, I provide you with, well, first of all the recordings of the weekend, so you can go back. So obviously I do demonstrations of every single technique, apart from the PT. I don't know if we did the PTSD one, but basically I do the majority of the techniques, so you can see them, go back and check them. And then I give you a whole package of stuff to sort of work through, the templates, the questions to ask, everything like that. You then obviously source your own clients to work with. So how was that? Finding people and applying it? What was it like? Obviously, we've just been through your case studies, which we know are amazing. So just tell us, what was it like working with your case studies?
The first person I kind of knew, but I wasn't sure should I ask or not, because to me it seemed like quite difficult case. It was quite bad PTSD, military person, and to be honest, I was a little bit afraid to take it on as my first case study. But then I said, sure, I can't do any harm really. I can only make this person better. So I really prepared for it as well as I could.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went for it. This person had really tough time.
And he had an incident 20 years ago, didn't he? It's been, and so
quite severe.
Yeah, so he had a severe incident whilst he was serving, was it, in the military, was it? Okay, so he had
that was in Afghanistan.
In Afghanistan, he had something quite serious that happened 20 years ago. What was it like taking him through the techniques and process, and what change did you see within him?
It was actually amazing to see, because when at the start, when I introduced him to PTSD model, he kind of wasn't sure what was it about. But as we went through, he really worked with me, if that's the way I could describe it. And for him to actually get the linchpin was instant. Actually instant. I didn't even have to ask about it. He already straight away told me the betrayal. And after that, you could even see in his body language, it suddenly changed. He got more relaxed. He wasn't sitting straight up like that anymore. He kind of relaxed his shoulders. Even his voice changed. It wasn't so official anymore. He starts to smile. And that was only a beginning, really. So, and after that, the second week, the second session, it was completely different man. I couldn't believe it.
Because the way that people look and act and sound, it's amazing, isn't it? The difference a week makes.
Unbelievable.
So then you do all the emotions and memories and PTSD and anxiety in the first week, and then we look at the identity stuff, things like that in the second week. And then obviously there's usually a big change between those 2 weeks. Now, when I'm working with clients, I would often do a third session 2 weeks later, should it be needed as well. Now, with a lot of stuff and a lot of therapies, the client can feel much better in the session, but it's really about what happens later on. And you have been in contact with him since, and he's continuing. Obviously, we are sort of at war and stuff, I know, but he's obviously doing really well, isn't he, since the 2 sessions?
I did actually had a quick chat with him just before the war broke out, and he was deployed. And I did talk to him about it. He said, yes, the actual events that what's going on now does have effect on him, but not in the way that he would think about it in the past. And all the emotions and memories as well from the past, he says it's not really relevant anymore. He's able to deal with everything much easier, and life for him now is much better.
Well, and that's it. And it's like, I don't know anything about RTT, but I know a lot of hypnotherapy and stuff, NLP. It's about charging those emotions and making people feel great and creating a brilliant future and all this kind of stuff.
Well, with RTT is a little bit different, because we are actually going into the root of the problem, and we are asking, we're kind of asking a client to make a connection between the future, the past, and what is going on now in the present.
That's
and then when the client understands,
really.
then it's much easier to get the client to change.
Yeah.
So it's not like we are kind of packing the client with all the good emotions, with all the affirmations and everything. No, the client first has to understand why happened what happened.
Yeah.
And after that,
And because obviously with IEMT as well, we do a lot of regression, I suppose we can call it, on the emotions. Was the client surprised about how he learned how to feel the way he felt by going back to earlier times?
Yeah. He said he couldn't believe it. He was just saying, this is amazing. This is like new lease of life.
Yeah.
He just looks at the past events and the emotions that came with it in a completely different way now. Doesn't faze him anymore, doesn't triggers anything. It's just fantastic.
And that's it. It's a very freeing way of being, you know. It's a very freeing way to live. So let's move on to your second case study in terms a little bit about can I just ask one more thing? When you did the case study, how did you find it applying it? Because obviously when we're in a training environment, I'm there, everyone else knows what's going on. You're now taking these tools to someone who doesn't know how to respond, so they can't play along. How did you find taking the tools, and how confident were you with, obviously I tried to make everything step by step, here's a session plan. How did you find going from the training room to an actual client session?
I actually found it much easier, to be honest, to work with someone who has absolutely no idea about what I'm going to do, rather than with someone who already knows, because someone who knows is kind of trying to help you a little bit. And here you actually have to rely only on yourself, which I found really good, because I am the type of a person that needs to be pushed a little bit to do things. So for me, working with someone, like even for the first time, having my first session, which was like PTSD and tough case, I really worked 100%.
Cool. And I always say, once you sort of take IEMT out into the real world and you work with somebody who doesn't know what it is or how to respond, you'll realize just how powerful this stuff is. Yeah,
exactly. And I was surprised even more myself.
Yeah.
I knew it worked because I experienced it myself. But for someone who didn't have it, to have such a powerful change, I was actually amazed myself.
So tell us about your second case study. How did that go?
Second case was a little bit tougher in a way. May have been easier, but tougher for me because there was a lot of unresolved things from previous sessions that the client had. And obviously she wasn't 100% convinced that the method works. But oh my God, after the session, she was absolutely stunned. So we actually got, it was a very emotional session, extremely emotional. There was
and she'd had lots of different therapies before this, hadn't she?
Yeah, she did. And there was lots of tears. There was lots of revelations coming out, which I didn't actually expect myself. But I kind of got myself in the zone, and with all the questions I have asked, she fully opened up, and it just came out, and it was just beautiful.
Brilliant. And what kind of issues was she experiencing, and what kind of changes did you see?
She was struggling with quite bad mood swings, depression. in the session came up, she is not good enough, she's not worthy, and
they come quite a lot, those ones. Yeah, yeah, they're big favorites.
So the work we've done, she did not expect what came out from it. She said she had absolutely no idea that what happened in the past could have had such an impact on her now.
Yeah.
So that was really amazing as well.
And you've spoken to her. In fact,
Yeah.
she just texted you or something the other.
Yeah.
So how has she been since? Because the last session was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So how has she been, and what kind of life changes she had since the work that you did?
She let me just read it again.
Yeah.
So the last time I was speaking to her, well, texting her, she said to me, "Another revelation on my drive to work this morning. They keep coming after our session. You're the best." So it's so uplifting to get text like this. It's just unbelievable.
Should be some of the. I've never had presents or flowers sent, but there's a woman called Mandy Bridge who she could open a florist with the amount of stuff she gets sent, you know, all the flowers and all this kind of stuff. I don't get anything. People that's like, yeah, I just don't have the problem anymore. Thanks. I'll leave your Google review. No, but obviously it is great. And again, IEMT takes a while to develop, and it continues to evolve and change. And so I also keep in close contact with clients to see how, you know, things are going. So now you've done your training, you're going to hopefully be certified today. You know, I'm just waiting for you to join the association so I can give you your certificate. And you can start practicing and actually charging for this. What's your plan now going forward? What kind of people are you going to work with? How are you going to use IEMT? What are you looking forward to?
So because I'm an equestrian, I specialize my RTT. In my RTT, I specialize in sport and performance. So with IEMT, I am going to take it even further. I'm going to work with people who went through some sort of a trauma, like falling off the horse or getting kicked, or any other trauma that could be affecting performance.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's not going to be only work on traumas, but I can also work on depression and PTSD as well, which I absolutely love. This is something, I really like to do as well. So there is a lot I can be doing with IEMT.
And let me ask you, by learning IEMT, what's that done for your confidence as an actual therapist?
Oh, it just blew up, seriously. Because when you know that something is really working and you see instant results, your confidence is just shooting up to the air. It's just fantastic.
And it makes sessions a lot of fun as well.
Yeah.
You know, because what people like saying is that, you know, they might have been a therapist for years, and you get a bit bored listening to people's problems a lot of the time. And it obviously takes its toll on you as well, having to listen to all this. With IEMT, there's very little content. It's all to do with doing the techniques and getting the results and experiencing the changes, as opposed to having to listen to somebody's story. Like with you said, with your second client you worked with, she'd been in therapy or has tried a number of different therapies for you know, a certain period of time. And she's done 2 sessions with you, and you know, she's transformed her life. So
unbelievable.
If people want to work with yourselves or get in contact with yourself, do you have any websites or social media handles at all?
Yes, they can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. My Facebook is in progress. No, sorry, my website is in progress. But I'm also in Google. They can find me in Google as well. And everywhere there are links for a consultation, free consultation calls.
And it's just Agata Leonard that they would Google, or?
Yeah. Agata Leonard, Leonard.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks
Go
very
join the
much.
association and I'll get your certificates over to you. Okay.
Thanks very much for that.
Thank you.
Thanks.